Disney Channel shows are normally either beloved, hated, or forgotten, but Star Wars The Force of Evil is different. It started out beloved, got hated as it ended, and no one mentions it now. And as someone who never watched the show, I'm really interested to see if it deserved the hate, or it might just be a hidden gem. So I recently finished a viewing of the show, and it's still very hard to determine if you should watch it. But I'll be trying my best to determine this for you without any major spoilers in this video. Right from the start, Star vs. the Force of Evil feels similar to a lot of other Disney shows. Has that dynamic duo of the chaotic girl and rule-abiding boy from Gravity Falls, weird other world like Amphibia, comically dumb villain like Phineas and Ferb, and of course we have the 11-minute episodes. Although having these similarities, watching the show felt very fresh. That wacky chaotic energy I mentioned at Star was also present in most episodes and the other magical characters. Now, for many people, these wacky stories may be a bit too much, and at the end of the show, it feels like it's trying to be too wacky and sacrifice of the plot. But for me, even though the story was kind of falling apart, I still enjoy myself. But for the most part, I do enjoy these creatively wacky episodes, locations, gags, and characters. It's not like it's the only thing they do in the show. Just like the other Disney Channel shows of the era, like Gravity Falls, Amphibia, or The Owl House, Star still has that serialized nature at heart. It happens in two ways. First, we have the cinematic finales with villains we build up to each season, set up from the start. But we also have the constantly changing status quo, and very few episodes feel like they get forgotten by the writers. Mid season 1, we get an episode which is super sweet, funny. It felt like an example of mid season filler, though, soon to be forgotten. But season 4, we get a direct follow up to the story in that episode, and it just feels really satisfying. Although not always having the perfect canon, and sometimes having a lot of plot holes, it's still really fun to see all the nods that would most likely be ignored in other shows, and I really respect that about the show. Nearly all the main characters are really good. Our two main protagonists, Star and Marco, are very fun to be around, and so are most of the supporting cast. They're just epic and a blast to hang out with, and there's one or two which get annoying or just are annoying from the start. That being said, the villains do lack in the show. First two seasons, we have amazing villains, but season 3 and 4 fail to deliver anyone who's just not forgettable, with motives that have any sense at all. Like most Disney Channel shows, or at least the animated ones, I'm surprised with how many funny jokes the show has, and Star Wars The Force of Evil is no different. It's really funny. There are a lot of just banger jokes, especially compared to the amount that falls flat. Comedy really does go hand in hand with the chaotic nature of the show, and when one excels, so does the other, but the show also knows when to take itself more seriously, which is nice. Not only on the season finales, but every so often in some fun episodes, we get shockingly sincere moments between characters, or a longer episode, a full 24-minute one, to flesh out an idea which is in the season finale or mid-season finale, just to calm down and enjoy the characters. I really, really enjoyed that. The show is so creative on all fronts. Weird and interesting locations which we see, characters and their designs, storylines which I just have no idea how were created, and just so much more randomness. The lore is surprisingly deep for a show which is this convoluted, while still being easy to understand, very fun to learn, whether it's the hierarchies, the magic, the history, or the various mysteries. The art style as well, while looking a bit bland at first, does really step it up quickly. It looks gorgeous by the time we reach the finale, no matter how questionable the writing is. At least we have those 12 pieces of art each second in that final episode. Most importantly, the show is just a blast to watch. There are moments where I'm questioning the logic of a certain scene, and then just to stop and start laughing at the show, not out of, oh, yeah, that's bad, but because it's funny. The criticism still remains, and I remember it, but I never seem to dwell on it too much, and it almost never ruins my enjoyment. I can go from laughing and crying to being confused by the writing, and when I shut off the TV, I can leave with a positive experience, and I'm excited to come back and watch more of the show later. The show definitely worsens in the second half, but at the same time, many of my favorite episodes or character arcs exist in that second half, which just about balances out the show. Star vs. The Force of Evil is just a roller coaster of emotions as you watch, both because the show and your perspective on figuring out what you think and watching each episode just seem to change, and it's confusing, but in a good way. The show is confusing and chaotic, and sometimes it feels like the concepts were AI generated, but I sincerely enjoyed my watch through the show, and I am really looking forward to rewatching it at some point in the future, possibly with my sister. As far as recommending the show, it definitely isn't for everyone, especially if you are looking for some just masterpiece like Breaking Bad or something. But I do think a lot of people will enjoy it because it does have amazing writing. Of course, all of the chaos, which seems to keep coming back, I seem to keep coming back to mentioning in this video. It is a very fun show, even if I tend to yell at the screen a lot with various emotions. But if you've seen the show, you're still not, because my review is already out, at least part 1, a 35-minute session of chaos, just like in the show, but it's with me, while I'm drinking milk, making bad pop culture references, and rapping from time to time. Check it out, or if you're looking for something else to watch, Scooby-Doo, History Incorporated may be the show for you, and I'll see you in one of those videos. I've been Fictional Fanatics, thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next one, but until then, bye!